welcome to Sunday Supper. I am your host, Sarah Taylor, and this evening we are featuring Maine's beautiful and expansive Aroostook County. So as you know, this is a cook-along show, so if you are doing so tonight, this is the time to get out those ingredients and all the supplies you'll need to cook along tonight. We will be starting with those delicious sounding pork chops in just a minute with co-owners Kristen and David Wells from the Vault in Holton. So again, get out those ingredients, but first, let's remind ourselves all why we are here. We will be right back.
We can save the jobs by saving the businesses. That's our mission here.
What's important about ReUp and the Sunday Supper is it brings a community of some of my favorite chefs together where we can all focus on trying to get some stimulus to the whole industry.
The reality is for restaurants, we are in a situation where the unknown is what's really frightening.
Help us survive. We'll be here for you.
Welcome back to our Portland studio here in Maine, and welcome to Sunday Supper. Again, this is our 4th episode, and we are featuring the county. You know, if you're from Maine or spend a lot of time in our beautiful state, you know that that means Aroostook County. It is our largest county in Maine and covers that beautiful, expansive northern region. And we have 3 restaurants to highlight from that area tonight, starting with our main dish chefs joining us way down here in Portland. We thank them for making the trip. So without further ado, I would like to welcome co-owners Kristen and David Wells of The Vault up in Holton. Hello, folks, and welcome to the studio.
Hi, Sarah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, let us know a bit about what you're making tonight and make sure that everyone at home is ready to do so with you.
Absolutely. So we're going to be making some amazing pork chops tonight. This is really probably my favorite way to cook pork chops. They come out incredibly tender, just tons of flavor. So the star of the meal obviously is the pork. Now this is a pork chop that I cut myself last night.
There's about 3 pounds there.
You can see how,
right?
Yeah, these are huge. You can see how thick and amazing those look. Now not everybody wants to cut their own meat, and so you know, a place like Hannaford is a great place where you can get a bone-in pork chop. You can get boneless pork chop, you can get thick cut, you can get thin cut. You have a lot of options there. So in addition to the pork, I've also got the salt and pepper. If you look on your ingredient list, you'll see the salt and pepper separately. I've just got it mixed together, like 50-50. I've got the Dijon mustard. I've got the all-purpose flour, balsamic vinegar. I've got the fresh sage, make sure you're using fresh. And for the recipe, one of these packages from Hannaford should just about do it in terms of the amount of sage you'll need. Another great Hannaford product I've got is the Taste of Inspirations Balsamic Glaze. And this is what we're going to use to finish the pork with. You can make your own just by reducing some balsamic vinegar in the pan until it gets this nice syrupy sweet consistency, but just for simplicity, I like to use this, especially at home. This is always handy. And then the last thing is just some good extra virgin olive oil. And again, this comes from Hannaford that I picked up at our local Hannaford in Holton. And they have some great brands that you can choose from, but the California Olive Ranch is one that I found that's really consistent and great flavor, So that's all the ingredients.
Awesome. So it looks like, I mean, pork chops you can do a million different ways, but
right.
What a simple recipe to really kind of elevate it to the next step. Again, from the mind of one of Maine's wonderful chefs here, we have a very simple recipe to elevate pork chops. Kristen, tell me a little bit about, you're from Holton, you're in the county. Are these pork chops local? Tell me about some of the local flavors you're able to incorporate there at the restaurant.
It's easy to find fresh pork in the county. Many of us can grow our own and then have a lot of freedom in our butchering as well,
yep.
Which we love to do at home. We've grown pork with our children and our family and really enjoyed homegrown. It's also easy to find it in the community, and of course Hannaford has all of the pork products that we can find and use anytime at home. And this is such an easy recipe. The kids love to help. It's easy even for me to do. Dave being the chef, he has to tell me every step to do.
Right.
but it's something that's simple, easy, and always delicious.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. And that's really the name of the game here, folks, is simple, easy recipes so all of you can enjoy cooking along with these chefs and restaurant owners we collect from around the state for you. And hopefully, again, if you're cooking along, you're following those recipes at tastemaine.com. And don't worry if you're not tonight. The recipes will always be available. You can find them there. Make these at home with your family anytime. And that's also where you can donate directly to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. It's really why we're all here, folks, to help out restaurant owners just like Kristen and David. We have some exciting announcements coming up today about 3 more grant recipients that are going to be benefactors of that Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. And it's all because of people like you at home and our sponsors, Hannaford Supermarkets, our leading sponsor. I just want to give them a shout out. Pork chops, balsamic glaze, local produce, local meats, all these things. Hannaford may seem like a big company, y'all, but just a heads up, we work with them a lot because they get supplied by Maine restaurant, the farmers, the producers, the cheesemongers, the fishermen. That is so important to us, using locally sourced ingredients. You can go have a one-stop shop to find those things all at Hannaford. So amazing to hear. And now, speaking of, I want to hear a little bit about what it's been like up in the county for you. You're in Holton. When the pandemic hit, you were just really newly opening the vault, which had been previously shut down but was a popular community spot. Tell me a little bit about the background and then what shifted for you when COVID hit.
It had been a popular restaurant. It had been closed for about 2 years when we purchased the building and the restaurant. We were open for just 2.5 weeks, brand new, really trying to figure out how to even run the business when COVID came and changed everything. So we quickly switched to only takeout, which we were happy to be able to do. It was a big change because we really hadn't planned to do takeout at all. We focused on dinner service and on the experience in the dining room. It's a beautiful building, a beautiful dining room, an old bank, so it has this great feel and look that helps with the experience for dinner. So when we were required to close, and really happy to switch to takeout, but that was a big, quick change for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And sorry, not being in an urban area like Portland, Holton, it's a smaller town. Was the takeout and the curbside, was that enough to kind of sustain you as a normal summer?
Fortunately, the community was all in supporting us, and other restaurants and small businesses too. The community was not familiar with ordering online or even ordering takeout on a regular basis. They expected the Vault to be a dine-in restaurant. So fortunately, they made that switch with us as well. We had to change recipes. We had to change some of our staff and what they were expected to do. So those were all tricky and really scary changes to make.
And just from a menu standpoint, a lot of, like we said, a lot of the things that we had on the menu were really geared towards dine-in, a lot of kind of hands-on, date night type of food. And when we switched to takeout, all of that kind of had to, change so that it could go into a box. And also, I think, just like from a price standpoint, a lot of the food that we added to the takeout menu was kind of more in that takeout price range. And now that our dining room is back open at 50%, we've found, that there are challenges on the other end as well, because now we've got this menu that's, it's at a lower price point than we were really set up for. So the numbers don't really work the way they were supposed to. And we've had to add, really invest some money into more inventory just for the foods that we want to,
It's kind of like
put back on the menu.
Everyone's restaurant plan for 2020 had to go out the window,
Right.
start from scratch, reinvent the wheel. So Kristen, speaking of menus, I think we're throwing it up to some folks you're actually familiar with right now.
That's right. Back to Caribou, Frederick's South Side, with Michelle and Paul Hansen.
Hello and welcome to the county. My name is Michelle Hansen and we are coming live from Caribou, Maine, Frederick's South Side, our cozy little kitchen. I'm joined here with my son, Paul.
Hi folks, I'm Paul. Today we're going to be showing you some great dinner rolls and some wonderful chili to go along with the county meal. The ingredients we're going to be using today is a half a cup of yeast, a dash of salt, 3/4 cups of oil, 2 cups of water, and 6 cups of flour. So today we're going to start out with the flour, and then you're going to add your salt directly to. Then we're going to have a little mixture going on here. We need to add the yeast and the oil, and then you're going to add some water to that as well. And there we go. And you have to mix that all together.
As he's stirring this up and we're getting ready to make some dough, we encourage everybody to visit tastemaine.com, donate to the fund. Great opportunity for you to see some of the recipes, different things that are going on that we're bringing you and other places are bringing you as well.
If it looks a little bit too wet, you're going to have to add some flour to it. And what you're looking for is a nice smooth consistency. It's coming together nicely here. And you just got to keep on working it. It's the biggest thing. It takes a long time, and hopefully you have the muscles for it.
So folks, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in a bowl, and we're going to cover it with a damp cloth, and we're going to set it aside. In about 20 minutes, we're going to let it proof up, let the yeast do its work. In the meantime, we're going to go on to making a nice hearty chili. We're going to try to make a county chili, we're calling it. We're using products from Hannaford, as you can see, spices you can get at Hannaford's. We're going to start with the beef that Paul is opening, and it's all locally grown beef from the county, processed right in Maine. Other ingredients that we use in the chili, today we're using a yellow onion, a green pepper, we're using an orange pepper, we're using celery, fresh mushrooms. We'll top off with cheddar cheese or sour cream to everybody's liking. We also have tomato sauce and crushed tomatoes. You can either use crushed tomatoes or diced tomatoes. Some of the spices that we're using are ground cumin. We're just using celery seeds. We are using chili powder. Also, we use garlic, salt, and pepper. Also, we can't forget our kidney beans. If you don't choose to put kidney beans in, that's your option. Again, this is a county chili, and we're trying to make it nice and hearty and make sure you have a nice full belly after you eat this.
Okay, and due to the magic of TV, we have gotten the lids off all of our cans, and now we're just going to start adding stuff. And if you're not following along, you can get it at tastemaine.com, and we're just going to go ahead and start getting some stuff going here. So, get some yellows, greens, oranges, getting all the colors in there. Get some onions in there, mushrooms, and lastly we're going to get some celery in there. And then we're going to let that simmer on until we get the ground beef all cooked off, and then we're just going to add everything else to it. While that is simmering, now we can go ahead and grab that dough, and we'll be able to make the rolls out of it now. You're going to need some Pam spray. It's a little bit different, but it's the same concept. So now we're going to take this out. Spray down your pan first. And then you just cut whatever size rolls you're looking for. I like to go just a little bit of a palm full. Then you take them, fold them in your hands, and just roll them. And while that's working, that's pretty much what you're looking for. I'm going to set that just like that. And to get the nice fluffiness on them, you're going to want to let this set for another couple minutes to let it rise again before you throw it in the oven.
Okay folks, these look like they're ready to roll, so we're going to put them in our oven at 425 for about 20 minutes.
Now this is the simple last step here, is just add the rest of the ingredients in.
So as Paul's adding these ingredients, I would like to take a moment to kind of talk about the pandemic and how it has affected, I think, all of us in the state of Maine, not only here in the county. We've tried to stay, as we consider it, county strong. It has been a very emotional time as far as what it's done to our businesses, And then it's hard not to get emotional. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough go around. You had to limit your staff, you've had to make changes, sacrifices. It just has not been the same kind of living the past couple months, and it's been an adjustment. I mean,
it's nice to be able to make a nice hearty county chili to kind of think about the nice warmth that we want to feel coming into the winter. And we hope that you folks are going to enjoy this chili as much as we do.
now we're going to bring this back to the stove, and we're going to give it a quick stir before we bring it back, and you're going to let it simmer for about 25 minutes when you get up there, and then it's going to be ready to eat.
With the magic of TV, we're all cleaned up, so now we're ready to enjoy this nice warm county chili. I think it's going to pair well with that balsamic pork chop that's being cooked back in the studio.
Due to the magic of TV, we have our dinner rolls that have been cooking for about 20 minutes, and then our chili that's been simmering for about 20 minutes. And this is about the consistency that you're looking for on the rolls. And this chili, it smells wicked good right now, and it's ready to be eaten.
Let's dig in. I'm gonna hand my bowl off to Paul. Can't wait to taste this yummy, scrumptious chili. We're gonna top it off with a little bit of cheddar cheese. Thank you, Paul. And sour cream. I'm not a big fan of cheddar cheese, but I like a little bit. And I love sour cream, so I'm gonna add a little more than maybe most would. A little dollop there. And I know Paul likes his cheddar cheese, so we're gonna add a little bit more there. And I'm gonna make him, just like a good mother, try a little bit of sour cream, because it's not really his favorite. So, there we go.
All right, folks, thanks for visiting us at Caribou, Maine at Frederick South Side, and don't forget to go and help us out and everything on tastemaine.com.
Thank you.
Oh, it was such a pleasure to spend the afternoon up at Frederick's South Side there in Caribou with Michelle and Paul. So thank you for those recipes. So just checking in with you cooks at home. Again, you have the ingredients laid out to make that balsamic sage pork chop with my chef host right here next to me. We are going to get to that in just a minute. But again, you want to have laid out those pork chops, about 3 pounds worth, your flour, your mustard, your spices, that olive oil. Go ahead and start to chop the sage. We'll be doing that as well, but those are some good initial steps. And then, of course, what we just saw made were those delicious dinner rolls and that county chili made with some local produce from the fall bounty up there in Aroostook County. So delicious. The dinner rolls, trust me, they were moist and hot out of the oven. So if you've been baking along those dinner rolls, your house smells delicious, I'm sure. And I'm sure that county chili will fill your belly just enough for the perfect appetizer for this county feast. Now, as we like to do every episode, is check in with our president, Kristen with some facts and stats about how the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund and our ReUp Maine program is doing. So I want to welcome Kristen to set. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Sarah Taylor, and thanks for having me back. It's always such a pleasure to be on Sunday Supper, especially when it's highlighting Aroostook County, the place where I grew up. I am wanting to share with you every week. I touch base to let you know a little bit about how we're doing with the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. And for some of you who've been watching along, you may know this, but the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund's effort is to raise $5,000 grants to award more than 100 grant opportunities to restaurants that have been affected by the pandemic. Our hope is to raise more than $500,000 total, and I'm really happy to report that so far we've raised $137,000 toward that effort. So
amazing. It's only episode 4, so thank you.
And the way that we've been able to do that is by virtue of being able to connect with some of our great companies in Maine. We've had support from more than 10 companies now, including 91 individuals who've donated at tastemaine.com, which I'd encourage you to go do right now. Especially thankful to our presenting sponsor, Hannaford Supermarkets, and our co-presenting sponsor, Bangor Savings Bank. Additionally, Oakhurst, It'll Be Pizza, Cross Insurance, Androscoggin Bank, Clark Insurance, Volt Packaging, so many great Maine businesses have come together to help create this opportunity.
Yeah, the list is growing.
The list is growing all the time. And in fact, there are some ongoing donation work that's happening by virtue of promotions and events at restaurants. And I wanted to mention two specifically. One is Flatbread Pizza here in Portland, which is a delicious place to go and grab an amazing slice, and usually out on the deck. It's pretty wonderful. On Tuesday, October 6th, they will be donating a portion of their proceeds on every large and small pizza all day long. $3.75 from every large pizza that they sell and $1.75 from every small pizza. So Tuesday, October 6th, go to Flatbreads in Portland as if you need
night.
Another excuse to go to Flatbreads. I talk about it pretty often myself. And then Maine Foodie Tours, October and November. Our friend Pam Lasky has let us know that 5% of all of their walking tours booked online at mainfoodietours.com in locations Portland, Boothbay Harbor, Kennebunk, Bar Harbor will be going to support this effort. So we're super thankful. You can see these folks on our website. The map behind us illustrates 226 of our restaurants in our state that have applied for this fund, so you can see what kind of impact we are trying to make. The deadline to apply for the application for the grants is October 31st. You can go to our website and see an interactive map of where all of these are and pictures of some of the grant recipients that we've awarded so far. And now it's my extra special pleasure to be able to announce a grant recipient who has been selected. Again, we're in partnership with Hospitality Maine, the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, and our grant awardees are randomly selected from our applicant pool. And it so happens that I'm able to announce one from Aroostook County, who are actually friends with David and Kristen, just across the street in Holton, at the Courtyard Cafe, and Joyce Rousseau.
Congratulations, Courtyard Cafe! Representing here.
Thank you, Sarah.
You.
As you know, we're trying to get all the way across by putting up our wooden dowels till we get to Eastport. We're 27% of the way to our goal, so help us get the rest of that way. Thank you to everyone who's been a part of it. Joyce, 27 years in business, 3 staff, and this I know makes a big difference. And happy to do more grants later in the show.
Amazing. This is what it's all about, folks, is giving out some of this funding from the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, restaurant by restaurant, making sure we've got some from all 16 counties covered. So thank you for that awesome update, Tristan. It's nice to have you again. So, folks, what county meal wouldn't be complete without a main dish, right? So we better get to cooking those pork chops. So I'm going to throw it right back to Kristen and David. First of all, your friends just got a $5,000 grant. It's real.
That's amazing. That's going to be a big help, I know.
Absolutely. It's why we're all here, but we're also here to cook some good food. So why don't you get those pork chops going and let the folks know at home how to cook along.
Okay, great. So to those cooking along, they've got your recipe, and the recipe, we made it for kind of a large group because it's going to be a family meal. So you've got 4 pork chops. We're doing 2 here. So the crew is going to have to share some pork chops. Everyone gets a couple bites. We'll make it work. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put some nice coarse kosher salt and some pepper on them. And Kristen's giving it a nice healthy dose.
Is that enough? You said put plenty of salt and pepper on there.
That's good.
Okay.
And these are nice and thick ones. So if you happen to be working with some thinner pork chops, you can season a little bit less because you don't have as much meat to actually be seasoning.
There we go. How's that looking?
That looks great.
Okay.
Do you have a preference at the restaurant? Do you like to serve the big thick ones or thinner for any type
You know,
of reason?
I do like the big thick ones. I think.
Yes.
Yes. I think biting into a big portion is nice. The big, the thick cut, but also the bone in is really nice. And I love French cut, which means that you just remove some of the meat from the end of the bone, and it looks great. The presentation is fantastic. At the restaurant we serve it on top of some mashed potatoes and some roasted vegetables on the side. And it makes for a nice presentation, and you can hold it if nobody's looking. Meat on a stick, basically.
I've seen that done with lamb before.
Yeah.
And the next step is also just as easy and a great tool for the kids, the brush. You can just dip it right in the mustard, paint it right on the pork.
Right.
It's very fun to do. You just cover the whole thing. You can't go wrong, and the portion is up to you. You can put more or less, however much you like. If you're a big fan of mustard like I am, you go heavy on the mustard and just coat it right on.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a real dominant flavor. It's just, you know, it complements the flavor of the pork, and it also serves a dual purpose, because the next thing we're going to do after we get the mustard on is that we're going to dredge it in some flour, and so the moisture from the mustard will help make some of that flour stick.
So you obviously have Dijon mustard listed for these ingredients.
Yeah.
Would using, I don't know, like a coarse ground or God forbid a yellow, like that would obviously change the taste of this recipe. So you want to go Dijon.
It would change it a little bit. You know, honestly, I haven't tried it with other mustards. I think a coarse ground could be nice. Okay. I think, yeah, if you want to get some Array's mustard or something like that, that could be good. So the next thing we're going to do is, so we're going to take some flour and we're just going to spread it out in this dish. And so what I've got here is just kind of a plate with a little bit of a lip on the outside. You can use a pie pan. You can use anything that's just big enough to fit flour in. And the other thing I'll mention is that, you know, some of the ingredients that we listed on the menu on the recipe, you know, the portions are really just enough to give you something to work with. So, you know, with the mustard, don't feel like you have to use all the mustard that's there or all the salt and pepper or all the flour. It's just something to work with. So before I dredge these, I'm going to turn the pan on, and we're going to put a little oil in there.
This is very quick and easy. So he's getting ready just for the next steps, because as soon as we dredge, it goes right in the pan.
Right.
And past the olive oil, so he's ready for that as well.
You want to have your oil warm.
This is, you could not get more simple than this, folks, and we're just loving these sorts of recipes.
Right.
Again, you can find this at tastemaine.com, and that is also, obviously, where you can donate to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. Help out owners like Kristen and David. Their neighbors across the street just were awarded a $5,000 grant themselves from the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. So this is what it's all about. It feels more and more real episode by episode as we're able to help some restaurants out. So again, tastemaine.com for these incredible recipes. Yep. And also where you can donate to that fund. So we have, and again, as an artist, I love the idea of slathering that. This is a fun recipe for me to try.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with the paintbrush and the
slathering. I put about 2 tablespoons in that pan. If you're working with a larger pan and you have maybe 4 pork chops because you're feeding the family, you might want to go maybe 3 tablespoons, something like that. And so while I'm doing this, Kristen is going to just be separating the sage, the leaf from the stem. And once we have all the leaves, we're just going to chop that up a little bit, and we'll set that aside, and we'll use that when we finish the meat. So I'm holding on to the...
I've always noticed that about Hannaford specifically. They have an incredible spices, oreganos. They have like all those. They have a great selection there in the produce department.
Right.
The smell is amazing.
I can't think of how many times I've run in there desperate for something that I needed, and you can't find it anywhere else. And you go in there, and it's organic and it's fresh. And you know, we try to grow our own herbs at home. Yeah. But sometimes, you know, you strip that plant and there's nothing left.
All those months of growing my basil plant. Yeah.
Right.
And the kids pick off it all the time. They'll walk by and pick a little piece off.
It takes forever to grow, and it takes a minute to use up. So exactly. Hannaford is good that way.
My mom's trying a secret recipe to somehow grow lettuce throughout the winter, and I'm like, so you're going to do all this work for one salad.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
We go to Hannaford, folks, instead.
So just notice I'm really trying to get some flour on the sides as well. If you have a thick cut pork chop, that's going to be really nice. You want the flour is going to help you get this nice crust on the outside, and the crust is really what's going to help keep some of the juices inside. You don't want the juice cooking out of the meat. You want to keep it inside. So let me see if I can make that fit.
That sizzle sound is one of the best sounds we can hear, right? On a cook-along show. Hopefully you guys are sizzling up your kitchens at home. I can start to smell the sage now that you just cut into it, right, Kristen?
Yeah, it has a great smell, really great aroma.
So just try to manage your heat. Don't let it get too hot, because especially with the thick cut pork chops, it is going to take, it might take 15 minutes to really cook through, and you don't want the meat to get too dark too quickly. So medium temperature, just kind of keep an eye on it. This isn't really a set it and forget it kind of dish. Yeah, so you can be prepping the sage. You can, you know, if you're using a balsamic glaze, then that's something that you have handy. But if you want to make your own, this is a great time where you could take another pan, you could put some balsamic vinegar in the pan, and again, just at a medium heat with a spatula, a rubber spatula, you could just kind of stir it and cook that down and get a nice syrup that we're going to finish the meat with. So we're going to let this cook.
Okay, get good and sticky, right?
Right.
Let that balsamic get good and sticky. All right, I love the options. Again, I keep some of Hannaford's balsamic glaze at home to top a lot of things off with. So we are gonna let those pork chops cook, but obviously we need something to go along with that. And as we feature these Maine ingredients, and specifically tonight featuring and celebrating the bounty of Aroostook County, what better product to feature than Maine's potatoes? Again, if you're from Maine or love this state like we all do, that is one of our biggest products incoming or staying within the state, but also being spread around the world, right? People know Maine potatoes. So we want to throw it all the way up to 15 miles south of the Canadian border. We went for this one, folks, to meet the lovely Neil and Denise Martin, their beautiful daughter Bella, at the Long Lake Sporting Club in Sinclair, Maine, where you can see Canada from across the lake. So we'll throw it up to Neil and Denise. Get those ingredients ready to make the poutine.
Hi, my name is Neil from the Long Lake Sporting Club in Sinclair, Maine. I'll show you guys the lake in a minute, but first I'm going to show you guys the steps to making poutine. First thing you want to do is grab a couple potatoes and get them peeled up. Generally around here we use russet potatoes or whatever the local farmers have available for us at the time. Now that we got our 4 potatoes peeled up, we're going to get them chopped up in this French fry chopper that we have here at the restaurant. For those at home that don't have one, you can either chop them by hand or buy some Hannaford frozen French fries. Here at the Sporting Club, we cut them at a steak cut, thick cut French fry. At home, you can cut them any way you like. Now that our potatoes are chopped, we're going to throw them in the deep fryer. For those of you that don't have a deep fryer at home, you can do them on the stove in a skillet, or save yourself the headache, go to Hannaford, get some frozen French fries. We like to fry the French fries till they're about golden brown. All of our recipes can be found at tastemaine.com, and you can also donate to the fund. All right, these look to be about the perfect color, nice and golden brown. You want to shake them real good, get all the excess oil off of there. A little bit of salt. And our French fries are ready. Okay, so now we're gonna make the gravy for our poutine. We have some gravy powder that I got at the local Hannaford. Mix it with your boiling water or whatever your package instructions tell you to do. You can also just buy the jar gravy mix if that's easier for you guys at home. Just want to make sure you're stirring it while the gravy is boiling. And that looks about perfect. We're going to put our gravy in our pourer. Here at the Sporting Club we use beef gravy. At home, if you prefer chicken, that's fine. You could use anything you like. Okay, now that we have all our poutine ingredients ready to go, I'm going to go see if I can find my wife and daughter to give me a hand to put this together, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, I found you guys.
Oh, all right, we've been waiting. What are we making?
We got the stuff to make poutine.
All right, poutine. Bella, you love poutine, right? Thanks, hon. So I'm Denise, I'm Neil's wife, and this is our youngest child, Bella. And we are going to show you how to assemble a poutine. We're here at the sporting club. We know the recipe is on tastemaine.com. However, we like to kind of show you a little the way we assemble a traditional poutine. So what do we need to put first into the basket?
First goes the French fries.
All right. So we'll put that a little bit into these. And this is actually a really fun and simple kind of thing to make with kids. I know Bella really loves poutine.
Okay, this is super simple. The next ingredient is the cheese.
Bella, do you want to put the cheese? Okay, so again, even kids can do this. All right, so grab some cheese and sprinkle that on the fries.
So this time of the year, the potato harvest is going on. So there's plenty of potatoes in northern Maine.
So again, this is a super easy recipe. If you missed it, again, it's on tastemaine.com. And we are already on the last step. And the last step is to pour that nice hot gravy. And it's going to just melt that cheese, and it's just...
Once you pour the gravy, it's pretty much finished. You don't even have to warm it up any more than that. Around here, we're pretty generous with the gravy. They like it. Fries, cheese, and gravy. That's it, folks. After that, just enjoy. Is it good, Bella? Okay.
Aw, sweet little Bella. She makes that poutine look so delicious, and it was. It was a pleasure to film that far up to the Canadian border with some lovely folks. So thank you, Neil, Denise, and little Bella for sharing that poutine recipe. Hopefully you've been having some fun cooking along with that yourself. And speaking of, hopefully those pork chops are sizzling on the stove as we speak. So I just want to check in with Kristen and David and see where we're at with those.
Yeah, we're doing good. We've got a nice crust on the outside. You can flip them. You know, you want to make sure that you've got some olive oil underneath them as you flip them, so you can kind of, you know, wiggle the pan around to just get that olive oil underneath, and then flip it with some tongs. A very handy tool here.
Go ahead and flip that one.
Yeah.
Honey. We'll see what it looks like on the other side.
Ooh, the
There
big
it is.
reveal. Oh my gosh.
It's starting to
Right.
smell really
Yeah,
delicious.
so I've got a
too.
nice crust. And if you happen to have a meat thermometer, this is a really handy tool when you're cooking pork. One of the most unsatisfying things to eat is overcooked pork.
Yes.
So, you know, there was a time where you had to have it at like 160 degrees for it to be considered safe. And things have changed now. It's more like 145. So if you have your thermometer, you can shoot for about 135 degrees. And that's a great temperature to get it at before we finish it with the balsamic vinegar. And it'll just help ensure that you don't have overcooked dry meat.
Okay, so keep it sizzling for now, folks, it sounds like. And obviously, what we love about this show format is that we are getting some easy, approachable, simple, but delicious recipes from some amazing chefs from around the state themselves. So great tips there. Note the tips, follow along with the recipe at tastemaine.com, and hopefully we are checking in with someone who's doing just that from home. So without further ado, I would like to jump over to Kristen Simmons and her beautiful daughter at home cooking along some poutine tonight. Hi, Kristen.
Hi.
Hey everybody, how are you tonight?
Not sure we're getting their audio. Are you there, Kristen?
We are here. Can you hear
Here
us?
you are. Hello. And please introduce me to your beautiful daughter.
Hi, I'm Ava. And Ava is my phenomenal sous chef. And when I asked her tonight, I said, do you want to make poutine with me? And she said, absolutely yes, right?
I'm a huge fan of poutine, so anytime to make it, I would definitely say yes.
Yeah, and we love this particular recipe too from the Long Lake Sporting Club because it's like a blank canvas. It's like if you want more cheese, which we do,
Yes.
You can add more cheese, and it's so easy to make. And it was one of those things where us coming together, it's a Sunday night, the weather's cooler, it's a perfect time to make this dish.
Now, Kristen, I just want to check in with you because I am a cheese lover as well. And I know I asked this of Neil and Denise when we were up there in Sinclair. He has mozzarella noted in the recipe. Did you branch out? Are you using anything else?
So yes, so we did go from the Long Lake recipe. We absolutely got the fresh mozzarella, but we also decided to go local, where we bought some of this beautiful local Maine cheese curd today, way up in Sweden, Maine. So we were up there today. So we brought some cheese curd too, because we love the meltiness of the mozzarella, but we also wanted that wonderful squeak that's the tradition of part of poutine. So we're gonna add these together. Yeah, so we love the both of them.
Amazing. So let me know a little how it's going. Obviously a very simple recipe, even yours truly could create at home, I think, with this one. So you walk me through how simple it's been there at home.
We started really with roasting our potatoes, and we did them steak fry size because we like to have something big, chunky, and hearty. You roast those, get them nice and crispy, and I'm going to have you hold this, and I'm going to cheese on top. I want to show you just how incredibly easy this is. Now, this is a lot of cheese. We went a little bit over the amount on the recipe, but you just put it on top, just like this. And I can just, oh, it smells so good already. Then take your cheese curds like this, because we like to have those be the ones that people jump into quickly. And then the best part of this whole recipe, and I'm going to hold this up here. Ooh. This is the gravy, and you could just eat it with a spoon right now. So we put the gravy on top, and the gravy really should be hot enough that it melts some of the cheese as part of the process. But you and I have found we like to stick it in the oven just to get it a little bit more melty.
Now, did you use a jar-bought gravy, or did you create it out of a powder packet with boiled water like we saw in the recipe video?
We actually made it from a bouillon. So it's very similar to the packet, but it's just in a jar. You can get it directly at Hannaford. We got that base there, added a little butter, we added a little shallots, and then we went for the recipe that's right there, right on the jar. So you add some beef stock, a little bit of flour, and it makes it, and it's super easy, especially if you don't have a roast that you're working with, you don't have any drippings, that bouillon's a great way to go. So,
ladies, I would love you to take a bite and enjoy that. Thank you so much for being a part of our Sunday Supper, the County episode. Looks like you have a feast there for tonight. You're making me jealous with that melted cheese, especially with the extra cheese curd. So that's another thing, folks. You can take these recipes, elaborate on them yourselves, right, ladies?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the inspiration. We were so excited to make this.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, girls. Enjoy, enjoy. And we'll see you at the next episode. Folks, this is what it's all about. Some folks having some fun at home with their family and friends, with themselves, cooking along these recipes. And again, let's also remember what it's about, which is raising money for the restaurant owners struggling around the state by going to tastemaine.com and donating to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. We couldn't do it without all of you at home, but we also could certainly not do it without our sponsors. A big one of those is Bangor Savings Bank. And I have on the line today one of the representatives from Camden, and that is Skip Bates. Skip, are you there? Hello.
I am here and getting hungrier by the moment. How are you doing?
I know, I'm doing good. It's nice to see you up there in Camden, a place that is close to my heart. I was born and raised in the Mid-Coast. Tell me a little bit about kind of the vibe there as far as the restaurant industry goes, but also why you folks as an organization found some inspiration to be a part of this with us.
Sure. Well, you know, with the beginning of, the beginning of COVID in the spring was kind of dark and dreary. But Camden's a happening place, and we are blessed with many great restaurants. We have some James Beard Award winners here. And tourists have been coming both from within Maine and from within some of the neighboring states. And it's been a pretty good summer here in Camden, so feeling optimistic as we go into the fall. Bangor Savings Bank is really passionate about supporting small businesses. Maine has over 3,000 restaurants across the state, and it's just vital that we continue to encourage the industry. It's part of our lifestyle, it's part of our brand. It represents $2.5 billion worth of commerce every year. But maybe most importantly, restaurants and the food service industry represent over 64,000 jobs. Wow. So restaurants are really part of our life and our lifestyle, and we need to support the industry.
Absolutely. So on that note, I hear that you are able to help us announce one of the grant recipients. So without further ado, by all means, Skip, go ahead.
Absolutely. And actually, this is a restaurant that I know. It happens to be coincidentally right across the street from our branch in Pittsfield in Somerset County.
No way.
Yes, indeed. And I have been there and enjoyed many bakery items. I'm partial to gluten-free desserts and delighted to always get them from Nancy Montero, owner of Pop On Over in Pittsfield.
Pop On Overs in Pittsfield. Let me put that grant representation right there. Skip, as you know, we have a goal to fill this with grant recipients by the end of our season. So thank you so much for being a part of tonight's Sunday Supper and helping us to announce one more towards our goal. And congratulations to Pop On Overs in Pittsfield. I do believe we'll be able to check in with them in person a little later in this episode. Thank you, Skip, so much. And may you have a pleasant fall up there in Camden.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Skip.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right, folks. It is sizzling up in here. It is smelling good. I think we should check in with the pork chops. Make sure that yours truly gets a bite, right? So,
Yeah.
folks, tell me kind of the finalized stages of
So,
this.
Sarah,
while
we're in the home stretch here now. So I've got my balsamic vinegar and I've got my sage handy, and I'm going to add it to the pan now, and I'm going to pour it right over.
Kristen, right?
Right over the pork,
I know.
right?
That vinegar is just a really strong
And I'm
kick
going
of
to
a
throw
smell.
some.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw some sage in there, so you can just, use about half the sage that you chopped up. You're going to save the other half to finish it with. And at this point, we want to get that balsamic vinegar just on everything. So I'm going to try to turn it around in the pan here, and so that both sides get covered. And you can turn up the heat a little bit, because really all you're trying to do now is you're just trying to cook down some of that vinegar to get a nice kind of syrupy coating on that meat.
Got it.
And so I'm just going to let that cook about a minute, and then honestly, that's about it. We'll transfer it to the plate, and then it's time to eat.
If only we could bottle that smell.
I know.
That's delicious. So, Kristen, I know you folks have 4 daughters.
Yes.
They are back in school up there, but obviously things have changed. So, speaking of change, heading into fall and winter, obviously you've already changed the structure of your business through all this.
Yes.
But from what I hear, you'll be at about half your normal capacity dine-in just to be COVID safe.
That's right.
What are your worries facing the cold temperatures this winter?
Just being able to continue is always a worry. From week to week and month to month, we're tracking carefully both the cases in the area. Unfortunately, in Aroostook County, it's been fairly manageable for us. Just hoping that the community keeps coming and supporting us. We will be opening for lunches soon, so that's another way that we've kind of addressed the limited number of tables that we have. So that will be brand new for us again. And every step throughout this year has been a new attempt for us. So we're hoping that works out well, and that we continue staying open.
Yeah, we haven't had the luxury of outdoor seating, just kind of where our business is, and really all the restaurants on Main Street, including the Courtyard Cafe across the street. We're right up there on the street, and so we don't have that outdoor seating. So it's been a challenge. It's been a real challenge.
It won't matter when the snow comes anyway. So I'm just going to summarize these recipes as we finalize these pork chops and get a little taste plated for each of us. It is, again, smelling delicious. So if you are cooking along at home, folks, the pork chops are on their last stages, just simmering and bringing down that balsamic reduction. I feel like I'm using such fancy culinary terms here. Your bellies are probably a little full already from the county chili that we saw created earlier with the dinner rolls from Frederick's South Side way up in Caribou. And of course, you are probably enjoying some smothered cheese, melted cheese, and gravy with the poutine dish we learned how to create with Neil and Denise Martin way up in Sinclair on the Canadian border there at the Long Lake Sporting Club. Really beautiful spot, by the way. If you've never been, right on the edge of that lake. I know in the summer the boats pull right up to the beach, and I learned in the winter they've set a world record for the largest ice disc that moves around with motors. So just another unique place, right? And it is. In the summer, all the boaters come by. In the winter, all the snowmobilers come by. It's such a Maine staple. And I just want to point out how gorgeous this is looking, folks. Can you see those pork chops? It looks like chocolate sauce at this point, guys. Maybe we'll try that next episode.
I dare say it's better than chocolate sauce. It is really good.
Well, I am definitely going to cut myself a bite because we have some more exciting announcements to make. But obviously, I want to thank Kristen and David Wells from the Vault up in Holton for creating these delicious balsamic sage pork chops, folks. Again, a simple recipe, but you serve this at any exciting meal with your family and friends, and it will be a hit. This is a way to elevate pork chops, I would say.
See how juicy that is in there.
Ooh, looks juicy. All right, you get some on a plate for me. I'm going to migrate over here, folks, because again, we have some exciting announcements to make. And again, this is all about going to tastemaine.com, giving to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, supporting these restaurant owners around the state. We're all going through a lot right now, folks, and this industry is certainly not one that is not facing its set of challenges, which will be even more so as we go into the colder temperatures here in our beautiful state of Maine. So I have the great pleasure of announcing our third grant recipient tonight, which is our 9th overall. Again, this is our 9th $5,000 grant we're able to give to a recipient from the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. This is what it's all about. Super excited. So drum roll, I get to add one more dowel. I love my job. And that is going to the Bear's Den Motel, Restaurant, and Tavern way up in Dover, Foxcroft. Another grant. Look, guys, we're inching closer and closer towards our goal. And equally as exciting to say is that I have the owners, Brian Westman, and he is joined by someone else I look forward to meeting, and they are up in Dover, Foxcroft. So, Bear's Den, congratulations. Tell me a little bit about how you'll be able to use this fund money, folks. Hi.
Hi, how are you? I would like to
Brian
say
there?
that, yeah, we're here. Can you
There
hear
you
us?
are. Hi, Brian. And
Hi.
who is next to you? Please introduce me.
Okay, I'm Brian. I own the Bear's Den, and this is Lynn. She's been my restaurant manager for 25 years. This is our 25th anniversary year.
25 years. Hi, Lynn. Welcome as well. We're so excited. Well, congratulations. Again, these are random drawings thanks to Hospitality Maine's Educational Foundation. Big thanks to them. Tell me a little bit about how things have been different this summer and fall and how this might help you out.
Well, our business sits right on the ITS 82 snowmobile ATV trail. So a lot of people have been coming to the country to get up, to get away from the virus, I guess.
Right.
And so we've had a pretty good summer with all the ATV traffic, but we don't know what's going to happen this fall. We've trimmed some of our hours back after Labor Day. And of course, we had a big Labor Day celebration plan for our 25th anniversary, and we put that off till next year. And it just so happens last week, I got my property tax bill, and I'm saying, how are we going to do this and still have money for the business for the fall? So when I got the call about this money, I said, boy, this is a big help for us.
Well, that's what it's all about, Brian, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts. And there are restaurants of all types in Maine, and gosh, we wouldn't be complete if it weren't for places like yours to stop off and warm our insides up after a cold day on the trails. So we are so glad that we can help you out. We wish you all the luck as you face the fall and winter challenges. And guys, go visit the Bear's Den in Dover, Foxcroft. Support them as well as all your other local businesses. That's what it's all about. So congratulations to you folks. And have a great fall and winter. Again, we hope that this will help you do so.
Thank you very much, and I thank all the sponsors that put all this revenue up for us restaurants. It's very much appreciated.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, we wouldn't be able to do this without our sponsors, Hannaford Supermarkets, Mangor Savings Bank, Cross Insurance. It'll be pizza, Oakhurst, and the list is growing. So thank you to everyone. And we were also able to announce 2 other grants tonight, as you may recall, and we are able to talk specifically with Pop-On-Overs in Pittsfield and hear from them how, again, this support from the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund may help their business. So Nancy, introduce me to who you are with there, and congratulations.
Hi, thank you. We appreciate it and congratulate everybody else as well. This is my husband, Deck, and business partner.
Amazing. Hello, Deck. Welcome to Sunday Supper. So tell me a little bit up in Pittsfield. You guys are somewhat central Maine, and is there a lot of tourism in your community? How did things feel differently this spring and summer because of COVID?
We are in central Maine, but we're a very rural community. We've been blessed this year to have a couple projects going on in town related to COVID with the Puritan company coming. And we've had a good summer, but like everybody else, we're challenged with what's going to happen this winter. We've said goodbye to our seasonal employees, but we do have a core group of employees that we need to continue to take care of through the season, through the winter. And right now, we plan on just taking care of them as long as we can. We appreciate the community, how they've helped us. We're doing a few little projects that we wouldn't be able to do around the store. But most of all, we're just appreciative to this grant and to the sponsors. And we're just doing what we can to keep taking care of people.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Nancy and Doug, for joining us tonight. And, you know, you may thank us, but it's really like Skip Bates from Bangor Savings Bank reminded us, the restaurant industry is a big part of not only our economy in this state, but a big part of our spirit. These places we need around. We need these good places to wine and dine, to socialize and to sport. And it is a big part of, you know, the workload here and staffing and employment in Maine. So there are a zillion reasons why you should support the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund. So go to tastemaine.com. That's what makes this all real, right, Nancy and Deck? Like, how easy was it to go online and apply? Tell me that.
It was super, super simple, and it was a huge surprise. Like the last gentleman said, property taxes just came out, and the timing couldn't have been better. So we're super appreciative.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. Congratulations again. And honestly, as you know, a Mainer myself, born and raised, you know, I've passed through Pittsfield, and I've certainly come in and grabbed a treat from there. So to know that this might help you survive another season is why we're all here. So thank you for doing what you do and working so hard and making it happen. And without further ado, thank you again, folks. Congratulations. But I need to go over and make sure I taste a pork chop, a bit of this balsamic sage pork chop. Well, I thank everyone for being involved today. Again, Kristen and David. Kristen spent her birthday with us, folks. Came all the way down from Holton to Portland to do so. Thank you to our sponsors across the board, Hannaford, Oakhurst, Bangor Savings Bank, Cross Insurance, It'll Be Pizza, and the list goes on. And of course, all of you at home. And again, remember, this coming Tuesday, October 6th, all day long, get your pizza, make it a pizza day with a friend or family, by yourself. Go grab a large or small pie from Flatbread in downtown Portland, and a portion of those proceeds are gonna come right back to us. So folks, I got a try bite. I'm gonna try the little one because I've learned the hard way not to take a big bite on camera. Oh, juicy, amazing, wonderful. That's delicious, guys. Thank you. That is fresh. There's that vinegar bite to it. Again, you at home, you cooked along. You know what I'm saying. You know how delicious this is, right? And again, go deliciously along with the poutine we saw made at Long Lake Sporting Club up in Sinclair with Neil and Denise and little Bella. It was delicious. I got to try some myself. I just didn't look as cute doing it as she did. And spent a lovely afternoon again in Caribou with Frederick Southside and Michelle and her son, Paul. I love this episode, guys, because husband and wife team here. We've got chef in front of the house, Kristen and David at the vault. We featured a mother and a son from Frederick Southside, Michelle and her son, Paul. And up in Sinclair, again, we saw family featured. That was Neil and Denise and their beautiful daughter, Bella. So just nice to know, like, this community atmosphere is also really family-based. A lot of families open restaurants themselves, and so when a restaurant struggles, that whole family struggles. So it's just nice that in this episode we were able to feature some little family units. And again, to support these people, you go to tastemaine.com, you give to the Maine Restaurant Relief Fund, you support Maine restaurants, and by doing so, you get these places to go to when things clear out. This will not last forever, folks, right? We need these places to survive the hump, if you will. So we have these wonderful meals to go enjoy from their tables alone. So we want to thank everyone, our chefs involved today, our sponsors, Enjoy those pork chops, the poutine, enjoy the chili and the dinner rolls. We will be back again on the 18th, where we're gonna do an episode featuring dough and wings. So get ready, mark your football games and come cook with us on the 18th at 5 p.m. We will see you then. I'm gonna enjoy some pork chops, give some to my crew who I know are excited to have a taste themselves. And we thank you all for tuning in, for cooking along, and for going to tastemaine.com and helping support our Maine restaurants. So vital, right guys?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bon appetit. Dig it.